Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Kadena Builders Club. This conversation was recorded on March 3rd, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we are talking with Kadena Builders Club. If you guys don't know, they are the team from Kadena Mining Club has built a new group called the Kadena Builders Club, and their goal is to further the development of the Kadena ecosystem. And it's very cool. We need more projects like this. So let's get into it. We got Matthew here to talk to us today. Why don't we just go over a brief description of what Kadena Builders Club is and why you guys are building it.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be here. Always happy to talk with you and everyone at the Kadena Project Network, Kadena Ecosystem team. Really amazing to have you guys here on the network. I love your website. It's a great way to just go on and find all the different projects building on Kadena, get in contact with them. Really spectacular product and service that you guys offer. So the whole reason Kadena Builders Club really began is taking it back to when Kadena Mining Club, before Kadena Mining Club even minted. We originally wanted to do this DAO kind of profit sharing type deal, but we over time realized we have to get away from that due to some US laws and regulations. I'm not saying what Kadena Mining Club has now is guaranteed to be perfect, but it's a lot better than where we started in terms of from a legality standpoint. But anyway, just to get back on track with the Kadena Builders Club, if we were simply just selling miners and, not really providing more value over time for our holders, what can we really do to bring more of a community aspect to our project and be really community focused, Kadena focused, and of course, how do we support the network the most with our project? We're going to have a lot of miners, so it's important that we use these in a proper way, rather than just using them to totally enrich ourselves. We can do a lot of good with these miners. So one of the concepts in Kadena Mining Club is you have to have your miner NFT turned on to actually get rewards from the miner that's attached to your NFT. So a lot of people were asking, well, what happens to the rewards? Where does the mining rewards go when the NFTs are actually turned off? And, a really simple way to have done it would have been, well, Kadena Mining Club keeps that Kadena. That's our business's money. Fair enough. We could have done that. But instead, we decided to create this kind of community fund for growing the Kadena network. So we have I think we have just under 10,000 Kadena in the Kadena Builders Club wallet at the moment. So all of that Kadena is reserved for builders who want to build something on Kadena. They can come and ask us for some of that money, and we can absolutely hook you up with it if what you're doing we think adds value to the Kadena ecosystem. So really, we've just kind of built off of what we have with the mining and have created this really cool community effort to help a lot of new builders on Kadena. We're really aiming to help and support, people who are really just starting, just kicking it off, getting their feet wet, maybe thinking about starting a project, or they've just started. We really just want to help people in the beginning, because it's really hard when you're starting, and we understand that because we've been there, and we want to make it a little easier for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely was one of the things that I always thought too of what happens with, because like you said, if you have one of the KMC NFTs for mining, you have to go into the dashboard, connect your wallet, and turn on the actual NFT and turn on the miner to receive the rewards. Like you said, just like, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that have these KMC NFTs and don't go through that step, or don't know about that step, or something like that, what is happening with those funds. But it's really cool to hear that you've decided to go the route of taking those funds and reimbursing or redistributing them to the community, which is really awesome. I just checked the wallet address, which you guys can, if you click on the Kadena Builders account here. Their pinned tweet has the address for the fund wallet and everything. Right now it's sitting at 7,181 KDA. So that's a pretty good
Ooh.
little pocket to be holding. It's not bad.
I was a little off on my estimates then. Forgive me, but yeah, I gotta get an updated pin tweet there. But yeah, sure. I mean, that's still a pretty sweet amount of KDA, right? I mean, even at $1.10, it's still a pretty decent amount of money and can really help a few projects, get rolling. At $25, it looks a lot better. We could help a lot more projects. So, one of the things that we've been thinking about and debating is, what's the most effective way to go about distributing these funds. It's been a really tough thing for us to think through and really make a decision on. Maybe that's something that we can get some insight from how Kadena Ecosystem is running your little mini grant program. I think you guys have already distributed your first fund. Is that right, or maybe not so soon? Your first grant.
We're in the process right now. So we had just under 200 people sign up for grants.
Wow.
So we went through them, and what we did was we categorized them into different categories. For example, projects that signed up that are like project/developers that signed up wanting, help funding their project went into one category. And then we had influencers, people who were large accounts that wanted to do things. We have few less of those was another category. And then we had translators, trying to find people from all over the world in different languages that want to help like translate articles, translate tweets, translate just about anything. And then we had the regular ambassadors, just people who want to contribute to the ecosystem and just be part of the thing and help provide more insight and more eyes on the project itself. So we kind of broke them into those categories. And then now what we're doing is coming up with set milestones, set goals. Pretty much it's going to be almost like a bounty program where we'll come up with a whole bunch of ideas of things we want people to do and tasks that we would like to see completed. And then when people complete them, they get rewarded. The bounty is kind of the idea that we're looking towards.
I really like that idea, a bounty idea. That's pretty genius. We've spoken. I know there's been some debate upon doing something similar where we actually create a list as well and provide that to everybody in the Builders Club and say, hey, who wants to build this, and then have them figure it out. That's a pretty good way to do things. I think pretty clever.
One thing, though, that we are having to push through is definitely KYC. We're going to be asking anyone that we send grant money to go through a KYC process, just because we want to make sure that the people that we're giving this money to are legit, for one thing, and are real people. And we don't want people creating a whole bunch of spam accounts and then pretending to be a whole bunch of different people just to kind of milk us for money, because we know that there are people in the ecosystem that will try that. So it's just about finding that balance and finding what's good for everyone, what benefits not just us but the whole ecosystem together. So it's just, we're still working on it. Like we're pretty much we're going to be reopening the grant process once we get this first wave kind of set up and going. So we're hoping in probably not this month, but maybe next month we may reopen it and bring in more people. It just depends on how well things go with this first kind of group. But I will say we have a really good group right off the bat of some really good, solid people and solid projects that really could use some help. And it's not necessarily something that the Kadena Eco team with their 100 millions would be looking into granting. That's kind of more for larger overall projects like Eucalyptus Labs, like the bigger projects in the line. But for the smaller ones, for people we could really use people. Just for example, every time like Kadena or us or you guys or someone puts out a Medium article, things like that, for people to translate it, share it in their groups. I went through the other day on Telegram, and there is 20 or 30 really solid Kadena Telegram groups for all across the globe. There's a Greece group, a Spain group. There's all these different great country groups with all these amazing people in them. And it's about, we're going to try to bring them all together under one banner to try to just organize it a little better so that, things are getting out there in a proper way, and just everything that we can do together as a community helps everyone in the long run. So that's really what it's about, is just giving the community some oomph and some respect and just a little bit of gas behind it to keep things going.
I don't even know what to say. I think that's just such a genius thing, right? I'm just thinking through my head of all the opportunity there. I love all the little Kadena community account, and little maybe not being the right word, but I love all the Kadena accounts from all different parts of the world: Canada, Australia, India, Greece. And you mentioned Greece. We have a lot of really hardcore Greek supporters and KMC, and they're awesome. We love them. But I really like what you mentioned about getting people, getting individuals to translate articles into their native language. Like, I mean, I'm sure you could work out some kind of like independent contractor deal with them, pay them like $50 or $100 a month, and they have to translate like 3 or 4 articles a month. I think stuff like that definitely does wonders for the ecosystem, right? I mean, English is definitely the most popular language in the world, but it is not the only language in the world, and we need to be more supportive of some of these guys and women.
I was watching an interview with Mr. Beast, who I'm sure most people know from YouTube. Mr. Beast is like one of the largest YouTubers out there, and he was talking about how he did some research and realized that 90% of the world that watches YouTube and stuff doesn't speak English. English is not their first native language. A lot of them may understand it a little better. So he started making all of these different language channels. He's got like 20 or 30 different YouTube channels now, all in different languages, and he pays people to dub over his videos in all these different languages so that his videos are worldwide, because he realized like, I'm only reaching 10% of my possible market. So it's a really smart idea.
Dang. I just looked up Mr. Beast Spanish, and even his Spanish YouTube channels, 24 million subscribers.
Yep.
That is nuts.
Yeah, and just so a really cool thing he actually does is he goes into these, like, goes to Spain, or goes, like, right now he's opening a Japanese channel, and they hire actors, like famous actors, to do the voiceover work for them. So for example, he said for the Japanese channel they're opening, they hired the guy who does the voiceover for the most popular Batman cartoon in Japan to do his voice. I was like, that's genius.
Yeah, but Mr. Beast is really taking over the world, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a very smart guy, very good entrepreneurial, and there's lots of things that people can learn from him. So we're trying to take a little bit of that and just kind of, on a obviously smaller scale, but it just shows how much, like, people think that English, you go over these different groups or different countries and it's like, speak English, and it's like, well, that's just not the way the world works. There is a lot of people that understand English, but English is not necessarily their first language or what they're native with or what they're even comfortable with. So trying to get as many people together to branch it out and make it more acceptable is just going to help everyone, really. It's going to spread. We're going to be spreading the gospel of Kadena throughout the world in people's native language, which is really important.
Yeah, it's genius. Well, if I was bilingual, I would offer my skills and services to help do some translation. But unfortunately, all I know is English. So
same here.
not going to be much help for you guys. Our artist, well, he's I shouldn't even mention it because he's busy doing art. But if you need some help with Vietnamese, I'm sure we can hook you up with someone really well versed in that language.
So speaking of art, are you guys going to be doing any kind of NFT stuff for the Kadena Builders Club? Is there going to be any kind of art behind it, or any kind of ways to maybe raise funding for the funds besides, you gathering the funds from the turned off NFTs? Do you plan on doing any kind of funding processes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So to just maybe get to the baseline for this, in order to participate in the Kadena Builders Club, you need to own a Founders Pass, which is available on our marketplace. You can find that in our Twitter bio if you haven't seen it yet. So once you grab a Founders Pass, you get access to certain roles within our Discord, essentially the Kadena Builders Club zone. So that's how you actually get in to the Kadena Builders Club. Now, how else does Kadena Builders Club make money? The two ways, there are three ways actually. You have the turned off NFTs, which we spoke about previously. Also, the secondary market fees for the trading of Founders Pass go to the Kadena Builders Club wallet as well. And then finally, Kadena Mining Club. We're aiming to have a donation essentially every quarter to the Kadena Builders Club in order to also increase the funds within that wallet. We wanted to begin already. We haven't started because we still don't have our miners, but we should have our miners next week. And then once we get our miners, we will start doing those quarterly donations to the Kadena Builders Club. In terms of are we going to do any additional fundraising? We've spoken about it because, at the moment, our Founders Pass NFTs, the cheapest one is 310 Kadena, which is kind of a lot of money for a lot of people. So we've thought about doing an NFT. Let's say it'll be like $100, and that $100 NFT will essentially be a builder's application fee to submit their documents, submit their information to maybe get a grant or get support from the Kadena Builders Club. But we haven't determined if we are going to actually do that or not. We are working on some really cool stuff regarding NFTs within the Kadena Builders Club, although I'm not sure I can comment on that right now because it's part of the council. The council is working on this, and I don't think we can share what the council is working on, but it's really, really cool. So even within the Kadena Builders Club, people asking for grants, they aren't the only individuals that are building stuff. People within the Builders Club themselves are just building things together. This has started, this has begun. And that's what I'm really excited about. If you hold a Kadena Mining Club Founders Pass, it's not just about submitting applications. And there's a bunch of other variety of utility that comes with the Founders Pass. For example, you get a free mint to our upcoming technology lab mint in a few months. But what's really cool about the Founders Pass is I think we've got such a fantastic community to actually purchase the Founders Pass. The people who hold these NFTs are people that are really involved with the Kadena Mining Club community and the Kadena community as a whole. Really, really smart people, really talented people. And I really think that these people in this group are going to be building a lot of the really cool stuff that we see coming onto Kadena over the next couple of years.
Awesome. Now, the Founders Pass, they are completely minted out, and the only way people can get their hands on one is secondary through the market. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. There's 420 Founders Pass. We minted them back on July 31st, I believe, and they sold out in just a few hours. They minted for 84 KDA each. Back then, KDA was trading around $2 a coin, though. So they minted around 84 KDA each, and now they're at 310 KDA each. And speaking about our marketplace, the Kadena Mining Club marketplace is actually going to turn off in about an hour and a half for roughly 24 hours as we upgrade to the Marmalade standard. So all the Founders Pass, all the miner NFTs, and the entire marketplace is going to be transitioned to the Marmalade standard. We're really excited for that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a really big deal for you guys, is because that's once you're done that's pretty much it. Your NFTs are set. You're good to go. Make sure you guys jump in the Discord and update us with contracts and all the information we'll need, because we want to make sure that people are going to be able to see their NFTs in our Koala wallet and things like that.
Absolutely. So what's really exciting, and I'm 99% sure I have this right. So if this is wrong, on the 1% off chance that I'm wrong, I do apologize. But even though Koala is not going to be fully updated and ready to rock and roll, I think our NFTs are still going to be visible and tradable on the Marmalade standard through Koala without you guys having to do anything. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
pretty sure that my statement is accurate.
Nice. We're getting really close to having a Wallet Connect integrated. So once that's done, it's going to be just go time. So people will be able to connect to your DApp, turn on their NFTs, do all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a really simple, smooth process, and we're super excited to have just have all these NFTs in one place that people can hold, because that's something that's really been holding back the community. Is just like, it's great to have a wallet that you can have your NFTs in, but if you can't see them and interact with them, it's kind of not so great. So, it's especially with your Kadena Mining NFTs, those things are so beautiful, and like the animations and everything, you want to be able to show your friends when you're like, go out to a bar and meet up with your friends and go, look at this, look at these really cool NFTs I got, and that's what drives people to go, hey, where'd you get that? I want one. The next thing you know, off they go and down that rabbit hole. That's how I got into NFTs. With someone, I went out one night and then we got talking about crypto, and he said, do you have any NFTs yet? And I was like, no. I'm like, I don't buy those stupid pictures. I'm like, why are you wasting your money on that stuff? Which is really what a lot of people,
honestly, fair enough. Yeah.
That is what a lot of people think about NFTs, because at the start, when NFTs first came out, they were like, not really when they first came out, because they've been out for a long time. Like, you can go back to 2017, 2018 with CryptoKitties, things like that. But they never really became super mainstream until the yacht club, the Ape Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
So, and once people saw that, people were like blown away that people were spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on these freaking monkey JPEGs. But then once you actually look into NFTs and you realize, okay, there's so much more than just a picture. There's so much more that these things are involved with. And, you guys have shown that through your mining NFTs and everything, that, yes, they can be really cool art, but they can also be something that's really special and unique and can bring awesome utility to the owner. And I think that's really where NFTs need to go. They need to shift slowly away from the just being fancy pictures to being a overall utility for people to utilize for their own businesses and things like that. And you guys are a perfect example of that.
Yep. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. The whole team does. I think we're going to see more. I think we're going to see NFTs like continue to evolve, especially over the next few years and into the next bull run. We've kind of gone through this. I've said this over a few different spaces. So for those of you who've always been listening to these, it's probably sound like a broken record at this point. But the 2017, there was that ICO bubble, and a couple of the good projects remained, but most of the bull crap, got weeded out. But and then 2020, 2021 came around. The projects that survived that 2017 ICO bubble had tremendous success, mostly into the next bull run. So I think that's what we're really going to see over the next couple of years. Is we've kind of gone through this bubble of all of these worthless NFTs, all these projects that didn't really do anything, but at hugely inflated values for no reason. We've gone through that process, but now we're in this building, this lull period, and the people who can survive up until the next bull run are going to find tremendous success and really set the stage for what the next, I think, generation of builders and new people coming in are going to do with their own projects. And we can find new ways to make NFTs useful in real life. We have what we're doing with mining. There's a really cool real estate project that's going on with NFTs and real estate. I think it's called Block Square. I may be misremembering the name, but I was reading about it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. NFTs, that are basically the title of a home. So there's a lot of things that are going to come, and there's so much room for innovation in this space. I can't wait until we get more projects like KMC and more projects like some of these other mining projects and some of these people that are actually providing some really good and unique utility with their NFTs, alongside of some nice art, because the art is really cool as well. You got to have nice art. You got to be able to draw people in. It's a great marketing technique, and it also is a really great way to show what your project is about, what you guys are actually building. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And in our case, it's a video. So how many thousands of words is that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like you said, it's the crazes came, the people who can continue through a craze and be there at the end when the next bull runs and stuff pop off are going to be the huge winners. Like you said, in the ICO craze, hundreds and hundreds of projects came out of the works, raised all this freaking money, and just a handful of them survived through to the next phase. And then NFTs became the next phase. We had this huge influx of all these projects bringing in all this money, and then I'm guessing probably in the next couple of years or year or two, maybe a little bit more, we'll start to see the exact same cycle happen again, where only those really hardcore projects will be the ones that are left standing, and they're going to benefit extremely tremendously in the next run, because we're even seeing NFTs kind of reaching into a mainstream adoption. We got huge companies that, like the NBA have their own NFTs. We have all these huge companies that are starting to see the potential behind NFTs and see the different use cases. And once more of those come involved, like you said, there's one that you said, the real estate one, that sounds really cool. The only problem that they're going to have there is, will government people accept that as a form of, as a real form of ownership? Like, that's just, you got to cut through the tape, but eventually we will get there, to the point where, because the technology behind NFTs can be used in so many aspects of our daily lives that could make everything so much easier, so much simpler. The one use case I've always said, which I believe will be the future, and NFTs will definitely be involved, is things like medical records. Could you imagine where you have like, it would be a government app, of course, but the app is pretty much a wallet where you have your own private keys, and then your medical records are in the form of an upgradable NFT, like how Marmalade, you can go in and update your NFTs, where every time you go to a doctor, no matter where you are, all they have to do is scan a QR code on your app. You press like your fingerprint or something to give them access, and boom, that doctor has access to your entire medical history. As opposed to, like, if I don't go to my regular doctor and I go to a different hospital or something, they have no history on me. They don't know anything about me. I got to go through the whole spiel with them, blah 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 blah. Whereas, with the technology that we have now, it would be so much better to just have that just at the touch of a button on a phone. Like,
Yeah.
that's the real future.
Yeah, I mean, have you moved around a bit, Chris? Because I know the pain of like going to doctors in different states, and then having to get in contact with
Yep.
your original doctor and get all the
Yep.
information sent over. And yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not that much work, but it's kind of annoying. Anytime you have to make
It
like
would
a
just be
customer
so much
service
easier.
call or send an email, it's just a pain in the neck. So
Yeah.
I
It'd
I
just be
agree,
so
it'll be
much
easier.
easier, right? Yeah, click of a button and boom, there's all right there at the turn of an access. And it's just a matter of making it turnkey, simple. The future will be blockchain and NFTs and things like that, but you won't know it. You won't know that that's what you're using, because that's just the
Yeah.
way. It's like how the internet took over and now everyone does online banking, stuff like that. People, like, checks, things like that, are the way of the dodo bird now. They're just gone. People don't talk about them anymore. Like, even my dad, he's like, I'm trying to get him onto doing online banking. I'm like, you can do all the stuff from your phone. You don't have to go into your bank to do this stuff anymore. Like,
Oh man,
you could
my
pay
my
all your bills.
my poor grandmother, she was still driving to like the city hall to make her water bill payment and that stuff up until like nearly the day that she died. It nearly killed her going going to the damn city hall to pay her bills. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, and so one of the you're mentioning stuff like this, and I think something that a lot of people on Kadena don't realize is that Kadena is built for that. It's built for these continuous transactions, these subscription payments. You sign one contract, then every 30 days, those funds can actually be debited out of your account. And you can't do that on ETH. You can't do that on Bitcoin. For ETH in that situation, if like Netflix wanted to put their payment processing on Ethereum for whatever reason, you'd have to re-sign the contract every month. Like every 30 days, you'd have to go on, sign the contract again. And that's just not a very pleasant user experience. It's actually setting us back in time. Kadena brings us back into the future with what is possible with these automatic payments. And I cannot wait to get working on that at KMC. In just a couple months, we're really going to start working on that for some of the things we have planned later this year.
Not to mention, if they were using Ethereum to do their payment services, there'd be times where you go in to sign your contract and renew your monthly subscription,
and
the fees
fees
would cost more than the subscription's worth. Like, could you imagine that? Like, that would die so quick. And Netflix is already shooting themselves in the foot with all this password sharing crap, but that's another whole story. Now let's loop back around a little bit to more about this Builders Club. Now, like you said the people that can get involved are the people who have founders fees. But let's say this really takes off, or for example, we have a huge bull run, and that 7,000 KDA you have all of a sudden becomes worth 150 grand, something like that. Any thoughts of possibly breaking it down and opening it up to more people and making it so that isn't that initial step of the founders pass being a thing, maybe even opening it up to just if you own a KMC NFT, then you can have access to it, just to kind of broaden the scope of people and projects wanting to build. Because I feel like 300 KDA, people could use that to fund their projects, as opposed to buying in to possibly get a grant. Because if I'm paying $300 to buy a pass to get access to a grant system, my grant better be damn well worth 2-3 times that 300 KDA.
No, absolutely. This is something that we are already thinking about. We're already talking about this. I guess when we first launched, it was 84 KDA when we first launched the Founders Pass. So I didn't think we expected it to be all the way up this high already. So we are thinking about it, and if we are definitely open to working with certain builders that might not be willing to make that full commitment. Like I spoke earlier, we're considering maybe doing like a $100 kind of fee for new builders to apply, and all of that money, the full $100, will go towards the Kadena Builders Club. So no one on the team is pocketing any of this money. We're thinking about it, and if there's a big bull run and we have like 150K in the pot, God knows what a Founders Pass will cost at this point, or at that point. So we're absolutely willing to work with some people and hook them up, because that's what it's all about. It's not supposed to be this big like investment into the Founders Pass. That's never what it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it's turned out. But on the bright side, the good news is it's always possible to sell that Founders Pass again if you're not happy. I mean, I think the Founders Pass, I don't like to talk about pricing, but I'll do it for a moment. Back in like October or around that point, I think these things were going for like 600 KDA each. It was nuts. So we're gonna have to think of something. Yeah.
Now, let's say I do apply for a grant. Do you guys have like minimum or maximum amounts that you're willing to give out per project or per grantee, or is it kind of a based on case by case basis?
Yeah, we're gonna have groups essentially. Depending on where you're at and depending on what you're asking for, there'll be certain upper limits. Of course, if something really, really cool comes around, I don't know if the whole Builders Club would be interested in like going all in, or like sending 50% or more about a certain opportunity. I certainly would be. I don't know if they would, but it'd be a discussion amongst the entire Builders Club when we make these kind of decisions. So it's not just me calling the shots. It's not even just the 12 people on the council. So within all the Founders Pass holders, there's 12 people. We put them on the council. And the council basically runs the Kadena Builders Club. So they're going to be making a decision, and then the greater Founders Pass holders as a whole will ultimately make the decision on who gets grants and who doesn't. So, these are debates, these are conversations that will actually be happening live in the Kadena Builders Club Discord as we're going through these processes, as we're looking to accept people, to give them grants and to support them. So it's a big old community effort that everyone on the call can actually be a part of if you so please to be.
That's great. It's definitely good to involve the people in the community to make these kind of decisions. Not only because it takes the onus off of your shoulders, but it also opens it up and gives everyone a fair shot to have their say, state their issues or what they really think is the best route, stuff like that, as opposed to just going, "This is what's going to happen, guys," and that's it. There's no discussion about it.
Yeah. Everything's negotiable in business, right? And where was I going to go with this? Darn. It's the Builders Club. It's not just about the grant. Like it's also just not all about the money. Like I said a little bit earlier, there's a fantastic group of people that hold the Founders Pass. Some of the smartest people on Kadena, I think, are holding Founders Passes and are in the Kadena Builders Club. We have people with accounting backgrounds, financial professionals. We have professional developers. Thanos, the legendary Thanos, he's in the Builders Club. So there's a lot of people that if you just want to come in and say, hey, is anyone willing to check my code? Or, can I get some feedback on my white paper or on my website? It's like we have over 200 people or close to 200 people that will be ready and willing to help provide feedback for your project, help you to get where you want to be and need to be. So it's really a lot more than just the grant process. And we really can't wait to get this going, because we're going to have an extensive deposit or an extensive really list of resources for new builders as well, with just basic templates for things like a balance sheet, a statement of cash flows, income statement. Because I think a lot of builders maybe overlook a lot of these very basic documents that will be really helpful, and especially as you continue to grow, staying organized is really, really helpful. So a lot of ways that we're willing to support new builders on Kadena.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is just building up that support for the community and giving them the tools and access that they need. And it's great to hear that you've got a bunch of really dedicated people already on board with this, because you need that dedication. You need those people to definitely kind of lead the train down the proper tracks and make sure it stays on the tracks and doesn't fall off or derail or become another giant chemical spill somewhere in Ohio.
Oof, no.
But it's definitely good to hear that there's room to grow. There's definitely room for people to find their way in. Now, besides people that are obviously, the Founders Club Pass is the key to get in right now, and in the future that may change. But is there other ways for people to get involved and help promote Kadena Builders Club outside of buying a Founders Pass or things like that? What can people do right now to help the Kadena Builders Club reach that next level that it needs to hit?
Well, I think first things first, you can retweet the space. No,
yeah, that's a good start.
I mean, look, I think the Kadena community, we have probably one of the best communities in crypto, especially through this bear market. Very resilient. People are still sticking around. Engagement is still good. People are still here. They're still coming onto Discord. And really, I would just say, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep retweeting. Keep spreading word of mouth about the technology that Kadena has and all the great things that Kadena has to offer in terms of not having to pay any gas fees, and we have near unlimited scalability. We have one of the best smart contract languages in the game. just keep doing what you're doing, keep the faith, and just keep spreading the word of Kadena. That's really what it's all about. I mean, do you have to direct them to the Builders Club? Not necessarily. If they want to build, absolutely send them our way. Send them the way of the Kadena ecosystem as well. Maybe get a grant from them. There's a lot to do. There's so many opportunities in this blockchain right now. It's just, who's going to be willing to jump on the opportunities.
Now, just out of curiosity, are you guys planning on implementing any kind of KYC before you start handing out money to people? Is that going to be a requirement?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's like I think it's one of the first things on our forum. We have a quick Google form where we ask a few different questions. Yeah, it's required. Everyone's going to have to KYC. Just with us, we're not asking you don't have to KYC publicly, I don't believe, but yeah, I mean, there needs to be some level of accountability because we've seen what happens when anonymous founders get into the game and get some support, things get rolling. But even on the flip side, even non-anonymous founders do a bunch of bad things like SPF, for example. So you can never catch anybody. But KYC is definitely something we're doing.
That's good. It's not just about protecting your own ass, but protecting the community as well. You don't.
Oh, yeah.
The KYC thing will definitely turn away a lot of people who are looking to just milk some quick money out of you and not really provide any real service or really value to the community. So you got to kind of set up those barriers for people, or those hoops that people kind of have to jump through, because if not, you're just going to get taken advantage of. And that's something that you definitely have to be very aware of, because when you're talking about money, it's a very serious thing. It's a lot of people, and it's not always like people think, oh, you have to spend thousands of dollars and blah blah blah. Not really. There's lots of places out there in the world where 10 American dollars is a huge amount of money, and there's people out there that have amazing skill sets that could be definitely utilized and brought to the forefront and really benefit the community and really also benefit them. Like it could really be a life-changing moment for a lot of people to get these grants and get their projects running and get things going and get more eyes on their project or just on Kadena in general, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and everyone's all under this umbrella together, and we all just need to make sure that we're all safe and that we're making sure that things are going to the correct people to provide the best value for everyone. Now, I don't know if you have any more alpha or anything that you wanted to share, but I was thinking maybe if you wanted, we could open it up. And if anyone that's listening has any questions that they'd like to present to Matthew and Kadena Builders Club, you can send in a request to speak. But yeah, no, I can't wait to see where you guys go with this. I'm very excited to see another group out there wanting to just do something really good for the community and help bring more development, more everything to the Kadena ecosystem, because we just need more and more of this. It can't be all on the shoulders of the Kadena team itself. Mm-hmm. It's time for the community and people like us and you to step up and really, be that voice and be that avenue that people can follow.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kadena team is awesome, right? But at the same time, we can't expect them to do everything. So I'm absolutely happy to be help of this, community outreach and all this marketing that we're doing. In terms of alpha, one thing that I will share, if you don't know about it already, I think pretty much most of you guys, ladies and gentlemen in here, know about this, but we're hosting a massive Twitter space on Monday, March 6th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have over 15 projects building on Kadena come up and have 10, 15 minutes to pitch their project, talk about what they're building. Really, it's going to be an amazing, amazing celebration of the Kadena ecosystem. So if you have some time, come by on March 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this space is going to go for maybe 4 hours or longer. We have over $4,000 in giveaways now, and it's going to be a great all big party. I know Kadena Ecosystem is going to be there. I know Koala is going to be there. Eucalyptus Labs. We're going to be talking about the Kadena Builders Club. We're talking about KMC. We have so many projects. So I pinned the tweet to this space. Feel free to check it out and just see all of the fantastic projects across the Kadena ecosystem that are going to be taking a part in this space. And I just hope to see a lot of you guys, ladies and gentlemen, there.
I'm pretty sure I could probably talk Kobe into throwing in some koala swag into the pod as well.
Oh, we already got it.
Sure, you've already got it. Yeah, he's pretty quick to do that.
You were the first project that I asked. Actually, was Kadena Ecosystem. I was talking to Michelle. So yeah, you were the first people I asked, and a big shout out actually to Michelle and to the Kadena Ecosystem, because you helped a bit in spreading the link around to get projects to apply. So I appreciate that, and really looking forward to this show on Monday.
Yeah, it should be a great talk. So we got NTG came up. If you have a question, go right ahead. Floor is yours.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you well, NTG. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. And nice chat this evening. It's been great listening to. Look, I've got a couple of questions, and I'm kind of new to the space. I've been on a couple of other spaces as well. You guys have done. I've been messing around with Pact. I've like the first question, and look, there's only two really. First question is in terms of, you know, what you think is, you know, the kind of maybe spokesperson or leader of the Kadena Builder Club. What do you think needs to be built on Kadena right now? What do you think is the what are the priorities for what you would be encouraging people to build if you could on Kadena? You know, we've got NFT projects, we've got gaming projects. You know, what else? What next is what's required next? Do you think?
Really great question, NTG. Thanks for asking, and thanks for being here on this space. Yeah, I think what we most desperately need actually on the Kadena blockchain right now is a stable coin. I really think that's what we need, is a stable coin. We pretty much have the DEX thing sorted. We have the Marmalade NFT marketplaces right around the corner. Now I think it's up to getting a stable coin on the network. That's, if anyone can get that done and provide that, I think that'll be absolutely amazing for the ecosystem. Secondly, automated payment systems. That's one of the reasons Kadena was built, was automated payment systems, and we are going to start working on that very soon, and we have things, we have things for our project and for things we're going to be working on in the future that will really benefit from that, and thus the whole ecosystem. But I think the more people that start building that and can start convincing other businesses and people and find your own use cases for it would really be spectacular. So maybe looking into some automatic payment systems, whatever you might find that works with that could be very useful.
I can add to that too, of things I feel that the Kadena ecosystem needs added is documentation and graphics, informational graphics, marketing tools, things that people can share around on their social media that are up to date, precise. One of the things that we see go around a lot that a lot of people don't agree with, definitely, is the 480K transaction per second kind of meme. We just need people to, that's one of the reasons we're also with our grant system hoping to build out too, is more documentation, more resources for marketing. And it can be just little simple graphics, could be simple GIFs, it could be lots of things. Like, for example, although a lot of people use GIFs on Twitter and stuff, you can make a Giphy account. A Giphy is the main thing that's used for GIFs on Twitter and a lot of other platforms. Start inputting Kadena GIFs so that when people go in to search for a GIF, put in the word Kadena, we could have some really cool things show up. Little things like that can really go a long way, because people complain that one of the, oh, why isn't Kadena doing more marketing? Why isn't the team focused on marketing to get the price up and stuff like that? And that's not the Kadena team's job. The Kadena team's job is to make sure that we have a secure and properly functioning blockchain that will do everything that the community needs it to do in a safe and secure manner. And they're doing an amazing job at that. It's our job as the community to push the masses towards that blockchain, show them what it can do and how they can utilize it for their better. So I would say documentation and marketing tools would be a really great way to help the ecosystem.
Amazing stuff. All right, great answers. And look, second question, which look, I think this is going to be a tough one. Maybe it isn't. Interoperability. One thing that I have struggled to see any kind of concrete evidence of, or really find any kind of information sources on with regard to Kadena, is what is happening with interoperability. And I appreciate, obviously, look, it's POW and it's what interoperability does Bitcoin have? It doesn't necessarily have any, but I think one thing for builders, and this is especially really for the Builders Club, when you've got people that want to come and build, that's a kind of question that I think they must be asking, and I'd like to understand what the current state of play for interoperability is, and maybe what the future is going to look like.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's a great question, and also a bit of a tough one. So maybe if I can get a little more clarity, are you talking about interoperability through like other networks, like with like Ethereum, for example, or with Bitcoin?
Yeah,
or
I think exactly, and like even on the spaces with Will Martino the other day, he mentioned something around Cosmos, but he couldn't really talk too much. He said he literally said he couldn't really talk too much about it. If you look at ETH, you've got all the layer twos, and all the layer twos are going crazy connecting with Cosmos, Polkadot, with except Solana. You've got Solana virtual machine coming now, where EVMs are going to be connected to SVM, and I think I'm not if we're talking about a world of not one blockchain to rule them all, but blockchains to be operating together, don't want to get left behind. So I'm just trying to figure out what that kind of future of interoperability would look like for Kadena.
Well, I simply don't think it's built yet. I think we need someone to come along and build some of that. We had a stable coin, the builders. There was some situation and it didn't work out, but we had USDC on the Kadena network, if I remember correctly. So I think it's there. It just needs to be built. I remember they were talking about Terra, Ethereum, and I think one other chain.
Cosmos.
At least Cosmos. Yeah. So there
Cosmos is
there.
also Haskell. That's why.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add on that, Chris?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's just a matter of the things being built. If you go back even farther than the USDC stablecoin we had wrapped versions through the chain relay way back that Kadena started on their own site with like KBTC, KETH. So there is the systems on the network that are able to do these things. It's just a matter now of finding the proper projects to build out the tools that people need. And one thing I remember when I first got into Kadena and was researching it, I believe it was either Stu or Will in an interview said that they believe that the future will be multiple blockchains And the thing that will tie them all together is the smart contract on top of these chains. And Pact is very well built to be that smart contract that brings these chains together. And it's just a matter now of building the bridges and building the tools to make that a reality. And I know, like you said the other day, Will was talking about this, and it's obvious that there are things in the works. They're just not able to speak fully on it. So hopefully very soon we will hear more information about that. It'll probably, I'm guessing that they're going to be announcing more grantees, and hopefully that $100 million grant system will bring these bigger projects that want to build these interoperability tools to Kadena, so that, like you said, it would be an easy jump from one chain to another to Kadena. And that's really something, like, that's what really made a lot of builders from Ethereum jump over to other chains, because other chains built EVM machines. So like it's just a matter of the tools coming around, I feel.
Yeah, because Marmalade is in itself meant to be NFTs on any chain, right? That's one of the biggest selling points of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's meant to be a tool that's going to be interoperable with other standards. And it's just a matter now of building those bridges. Building the bridges is really what it comes down to. And like I said, I'm hoping that in the very near future we're going to hear some really cool, exciting news about that. So I feel like it is coming, but people want it now. Now we live in a society now where people have no patience and they want everything right away, and don't realize that these things take a lot of time, a lot of testing, because you don't want to throw something out there and then all of a sudden there's a hole or an exploit in it that got missed because it got rushed, and then next thing you know, people are losing funds left, right, and center. That's the last thing we want. So I would rather people take their time, build things properly, do the proper testing, and do it right first, as opposed to just pushing something out.
Yeah, well said, Chris.
All right, excellent stuff. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for your
really
questions.
excellent questions, NTG. Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I would like to thank you, Matthew, for coming by today. It's been great catching up with you and learning more about this Builders Club. I'm really excited to see where it goes, what kind of people are going to be wanting to get in on this. I feel like you're going to be having a huge influx, like we did, of people with really amazing ideas, and people that just want everything better for Kadena. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. And if you guys want, if you need any help or want to throw ideas off of us, we're always here to help, and you guys have direct communication with us. So if you ever need any help or want to throw ideas, feel free to reach out.
Always a pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, for listening to this today. Really appreciate your time. Cannot wait to get mining again, and cannot wait to get building with the Kadena Builders Club. If you have any questions about KBC, feel free to DM us, DM the Kadena Mining Club Twitter account, reach out to me directly in Discord, reach out to us in the Kadena Mining Club Discord. And don't forget to come to the Kadena Mega Spaces next week, March 6th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Over $4,000 in prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you all there. Have a great weekend. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Like he said, make sure you guys follow Kadena Builders Club, follow Kadena Mining Club, follow all their accounts, join their Discord, get involved. Lots of really cool things going to be happening in the future. And hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of you people on Monday. I will for sure be part of that and be in there on the mic, probably on the Kadena Ecosystem account here. So should be a really amazing event. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming out and listening today. And have a great day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.